When I cried, my husband laughed. He said I was being too emotional, that I should grow up and stop overreacting. That night, I remember sitting on the edge of our bed, holding a broken picture frame in my hands. The photo inside was of us, smiling, happy, taken years ago when love was still alive between us. But now, all I could see in that photo was a memory that no longer felt true. I never thought love could fade so quietly. No fights, no shouting, just silence. The kind of silence that fills every room, every meal, every look. People say that laughter is the best medicine, but when it's used to mock someone's pain, it becomes poison. At the time, I didn't know that life was already preparing a lesson for him, one that would come slowly, painfully, but fairly. And when it did, I didn't laugh. I just sat there and watched, quietly, as karma did what I never could. This is the story of how I learned that revenge doesn't always come from anger. Sometimes it comes from life itself. My name is Sarah. I was married to Michael for 15 years. We had a simple life, a small house, a daughter named Lily, and dreams that once felt endless. Michael was charming in the beginning. He used to bring me flowers, surprise me with coffee in bed, and tell me I was his world. I believed him. I believed every word. But as years passed, work became his world instead. He worked in real estate, long hours, constant phone calls, and late-night meetings that I stopped questioning. Whenever I'd ask, "Can we have dinner together tonight?" he'd sigh and say, "Not now, Sarah. I'm busy building a future for us." So I waited. I cooked alone, ate alone, slept alone, and convinced myself that one day things would get better. But love doesn't survive on waiting. It fades, quietly, like the scent of flowers left too long in a vase. The first time I cried in front of him, it wasn't even about us. Our daughter Lily had been bullied at school. She came home in tears, saying someone called her poor because her clothes weren't fancy enough. When I told Michael, he laughed. He said, "Kids will be kids. Don't make everything dramatic, Sarah." That laugh stayed in my mind for a long time, because in that moment, I realized his heart wasn't where ours were anymore. Little by little, I stopped sharing my feelings. When something upset me, I stayed quiet. When something made me happy, I kept it to myself. Michael, on the other hand, became colder. He'd mock me in small ways, calling me too sensitive, too soft, too weak. I'd smile through it just to avoid another argument. One evening, I spent hours preparing his favorite dinner, roast chicken and mashed potatoes. It was Lily's idea. She said, "Maybe if we surprise Dad, he'll smile again." When he came home, he didn't even look at the table. He dropped his briefcase, loosened his tie, and said, "I already ate." Lily's face fell. She quietly left the room, and I just stood there, staring at the untouched food. Later that night, I tried to talk to him. I said softly, "Michael, are you unhappy? Did I do something wrong?" He looked up from his phone and smirked. "Not everything is about you, Sarah." That line, it cut deeper than he knew, because for years, everything I did was about him. Cooking, cleaning, caring, holding our family together. But when love becomes one-sided, it starts to hurt more than it heals. Then came the night that changed everything. He came home late again. I was sitting on the couch, waiting, half asleep. When he walked in, I noticed something. Lipstick on his collar. A color I never owned. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just looked at him and said, "She must wear bright red." He froze, and for the first time, After that night, the truth came out in small pieces. He didn't deny it, not fully. He said it just happened, that it was a mistake, that I was too emotional to understand. He moved into the guest room for space, but space only made the distance wider. Days turned into weeks. He stopped coming home some nights altogether. Lily started asking, "Is Daddy mad at us?" And I had no answer that wouldn't break her heart. Then, one afternoon, while folding laundry, I found a message on his shirt pocket. A small note that said, "Miss you already." The handwriting was neat and unfamiliar. That was the moment I finally cried. Not the quiet kind, but the kind where you press your face into your hands and try not to let your child hear. And as I cried, I heard him outside the door. He didn't come in. He just said, almost amused, "Sarah, please, don't start again." After his downfall, everything changed. The woman he had been seeing disappeared when the money did. His friends avoided his calls. And the man who once thought he was untouchable became quiet. He spent more time at home, sitting alone, lost in thought. He'd watch Lily play and sometimes whisper, "I missed so much, didn't I?" I didn't hate him, but I didn't feel pity either. I just felt peace. One rainy evening, he came to me and said, "I'm sorry." I looked at him and asked, "For what?" He said, "For laughing when you cried, for not seeing how much you gave." There was silence after that. I didn't forgive him right away. Forgiveness isn't a switch you can turn on. It's a slow process, like a wound healing under a scar. Weeks later, he moved out, not because I asked him to, but because he finally understood that the home he'd broken couldn't be repaired with apologies. Lily and I stayed. We learned to laugh again. Soft, real laughter, not the kind that hides pain. We cooked together, played music, and filled the silence with love again. It's been 3 years since then. Michael still calls sometimes, mostly to ask about Lily. He's polite now, softer. Life humbled him in ways I never could. Once he said, "You were always stronger than I thought." I told him, "No, I just stopped trying to be strong for both of us." People often ask if I ever forgave him. And the truth is, yes, I did. But not for him, for me. Because holding on to pain is like drinking poison and expecting someone else to suffer. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means freeing yourself. Sometimes when I see rain on the window, I remember the night he laughed while I cried. And instead of anger, I feel gratitude, because that moment taught me everything about love, dignity, and strength. Life has a strange balance. It doesn't always punish with noise or revenge. Sometimes it just shows people the reflection of their own actions. And when karma finally knocked on our door, I didn't open it with anger. I opened it with peace. Because I had already learned, laughter fades, love changes, but truth always stays. If you've ever been laughed at when you were hurting, I want you to know, your tears were never weakness. They were proof that you still had a heart in a world that forgot how to feel. And one day, life will return that pain, not through you, but for you. Because the truth is, you don't have to seek revenge. You just have to heal and let karma do the rest.